This is Maximum India, an exploration of Indian music. I'm Hari Srinivasan. In this segment, we'll talk about some of the elements of Indian music that make it unique. Imagine sitting on a stage, a concert stage, with thousands of people in the audience. You're going to play for these people, but in front of you, there's no music stand, no sheet music by some composer. In your head, there's no song you wrote yourself. When the lights come on, for the next hour, the audience is going to expect you to just make things up. A concert musician's nightmare? Maybe in the Western world, but in Indian music, it's what most performers do every day. Here's classical sitar player Shubha Shankaran.
In my case, I usually make the selection a couple of days ahead so that I can warm up. But my husband, for example, he will get into a different mood when he's right on the stage and then decide and play the rag.
Making it up as you go along. That's one of the principal ways that Indian music is unique. Almost all Indian musical performance is based on improvisation.
Improvisation is that you don't have the music written in front of you that somebody else has composed and you're going to just read it and play. We don't have any notes, musical notes written in front of us.
The way it works is they start with something familiar. Here's Nitin Hirsch, who runs a folk music group called Rhythms of Rajasthan.
Usually in the Rajasthani typical folk song, when they start the song, they used to start with a couple of lines which belongs the themes of the songs. So identically, when they start the song, the audience who knows the Rajasthani music and songs, they get the idea that what songs is now coming.
Then they just take it from there. Here's U. Srinivas, a classical mandolin player.
The songs are standard things that everybody knows, but when we improvise, that's all spontaneous on the stage. No one knows what each one is going to do. So that is the beauty of the music. It's challenging on the stage.
If you listen to U. Srinivas playing here, you'll notice another element of Indian music that makes it different from what we hear in the West. It's also something that's common to much of Indian music, a sound called a drone. The drone is vital to Indian music. It's the background sound against which other notes are played, so that you get melodic tension. Here to explain is Dr. Natalie Sarazin, who teaches about Indian music and culture at the College of Brockport in New York State.
There's no harmony in Indian music, so everything is done against this backdrop of drone. But drone, when we think of drone, you think of a bagpipe or something where you've got this one note kind of playing. But in Indian music, the drone is actually 4 notes. Pa, sa, 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 pa, sa, sa, sa. So 1 long note, 2 short, and then 1 long note. So and that's done over and over and over again. Some notes will blend with the drone, and some notes are going to fight the drone. So you'll hear it particularly with re and ni. Those notes are going to be very much, very tense against the drone. So, okay. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa.
So Indian music has no harmony, and there's nothing written down. The rhythm of Indian music is different too.
In the West, we've got meter. 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4. So we've got, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4.
In Indian music, the most common rhythm cycle, they call them taals, is 16. Here's Anubrata Chatterjee, who plays the tabla, a type of Indian drum. He'll be joined by Professor Natalie Sarazin and sitar player Shubha Shankaran.
See, taals are basically rhythmic cycles. And, the most common taal is teen taal. It's a 16-beat time cycle, which means you go up to 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 16, then you come back to 1. And it's like na, dhin, dhin, na, dhin, dhin, na, din, din, na, ta, din, din, na. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You come back to 1.
There's very ancient ways of counting and clapping with using your fingers on your hand and then clapping and waving. And there's beats that are sound and then there are empty beats. So the empty beat means that the tabla player will only play the right side of the drum, the very high-pitched side, and the bass will drop out. So then the soloist will be able to hear in the cycle where they are.
So it's the 16 beat would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, empty 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If I do it much faster, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you can have 12-beat rhythmic cycles divided into 6 sections consisting of 2 beats each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So keeping time is important, but not just in the Western sense. According to Nandini Manesh, who runs a company called Banyan Tree that puts on Indian folk music concerts, the way you play music, and even the songs you'll play, depend on the time of the year and the time of the day.
The 24 hours of the day are divided into 8 different quadrants, and then there are specific ragas, melodic structures for each quadrant.
So there are morning rags, late morning, afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, sunset rags they call it, then after sunset and then midnight, and so it goes on and on.
So when people come for the concerts, typically it's in the evening or in the night. So one gets to hear those ragas. And in fact, because of that, we started this festival, which is day long, and we tell musicians to play the specific ragas for specific quadrants.
There's also seasonal music, songs you can only play during certain times of the year. And she says in some parts of India, they have songs for every stage of a person's life. Here's a story about the Manganiyars, who live in the state of Rajasthan near the Pakistani border.
20 years ago, when I went to the villages, there were these very old, proud Manganiyars. They told me that they have songs starting from birth. So when there's a childbirth, they have to sing Badhava and Halaria. And they would have songs related to different festivals. When there is monsoon, there were songs for monsoon. There were songs for insects which ate up the entire ready crop. Amazing things. Then there were songs for the girl who is married far away from her parents' village and she's reminiscing her happy childhood time. There were songs for which women sang when they were kind of pounding the grains, and there were songs related to weddings, entertaining the guests. And also songs for death. And that really stumped me. I said, songs for death? And this man said, of course, there are songs for death because death actually means not just end of this life, but is opening of another lifetime. So for us, ending is also beginning. Just as you sing to celebrate the birth, you have to sing to celebrate death as well.
Not surprising, because music is so important, so central to Indian life. There are classes of people who do nothing but play music.
Typically, there are communities whose role in the social hierarchy is to provide and make music.
There are dolis and hadis and manganiyars, goodies and badis, who do nothing but play music.
He has learned it from his father because he comes from that particular community of drummers.
The musician in my group, Rhythm of Rajasthan, it belongs to Manganiyar and Langa community. They are the professionally hereditary caste musicians.
मला इतकं काही माहित नाही पण वडिलांचं जे आहे
His grandfather used to be part of a tamasha group which travels from village to village.
याच्यासोबत त्यांच्यामध्ये असं चेंजेस आले की
These musicians will train and they learn to play that particular instrument in the temple, and then that is their hereditary job.
And in these communities of musicians, Nandini Manesh says, you don't go to school to learn. Most of the training is informal.
The father never sits with the child, or the mother never sits with the child saying that, okay, now, let me teach you this song. Come on, sing along.
मी ज्यावेळी बसायचो नाही त्यावेळी म्हणजे
Well, he learned from his father, and he's saying as a child he would make a lot of mistakes and he would get one tight rap when each time he made a mistake, and then he
पण वडिलांचं जे आहे ते पूर्वी तमाशा म्हणजे
And the most beautiful part is that child also is not aware. It's not that as if he's listening, okay, now, this is what I need to repeat. It's not that. It's just absorbed.
Many of these Indian musical traditions have lasted for hundreds of years. But as we start the 21st century, it's not clear how many will last another 100 years. India is changing, and Natalie Sarrazin says it's changing fast.
We have massive migrations into big cities. And I have personal experience with this because my husband's family's from there, and there's almost nobody left in the village. They're all just moving into the cities.
When people leave the villages, there's no one left to sing the songs. No one left to teach the children how to play these instruments.
They lose those work songs, when they're sitting around. There's no place in the neighborhood to go and sing those songs or get together anymore.
Nitin Hirsch says it's happening in Rajasthan.
The Manganiyar's instruments, the Kamaicha is also, now it's getting very less. So new generation is lacking with their traditional instruments.
Nandini Manesh says she sees it too, but she also sees some hope. Where she lives in Mumbai, for instance, she says people still get together for the harvest festival called Lodi.
Those who migrate to cities, though there is no harvesting to be done, this continues. So people still in the cities, they also meet and they come together. People from Punjab, maybe they are from different areas, but they come together and they sing and dance and whatever.
Will this all continue? When we look back on India in 100 years, will it still hold on to its unique characteristics, the things that set its music and culture apart? We won't know till then. Thanks for listening. I'm Hari Srinivasan for Arts Edge, a program of the Education Department of the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.